Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. It is good to be back. I've missed you guys. So I had some free time today and I was wearing a perfume that was very kindly sent to me by one of my perfume god people, Nick, who sent me this little bad boy. And this is Slumberhouse's Or. Now, there are actually two iterations of this fragrance. There is one from 2009 and there's one from 2022. My guess is that this is the 2022 juice, although I'm not 100% sure. Looking at the color and the fact that the 2009 version is a little bit of a unicorn, my guess is this is the 2022 version. But either way, I am very excited to start talking about this house because this is a house that many people who I really respect and look up to, especially, for example, somebody like Mark from the Robes 08 channel. He loved the House of Slumberhouse. And it's a house that Josh Loeb is the perfumer, who I know many people in the industry really respect. But it's a house that is sometimes hard to find their bottles. You know, they're very similar to the way Russian Adam puts out his fragrances for the House of Arise Ladore. They're very limited in release. They come out, they sell out, and then that's it. There may be another release like this, or there may not be. And you see, from 2009 all the way to 2022, there was a large gap where you just could not buy this. So that's part of the issue with the House of Slumberhouse, but I've actually never done a video on any of their perfumes before on the channel. So this is sort of a first, if you will. So before we start getting into it, I do want to say that I actually have something here from Nick, and this came very recently. And so my good friend Nick sent this little bad boy to me. And so there's some stuff in here. There's some more goodies. So all the way from across the pond, let's see what he sent me. So let's do this quick unboxing, and then at the end of the video, if you want to stick around, we'll do another unboxing that some folks sent to me. Some gifts, just some decants, I think, and stuff like that. But let me show you what Nick was able to send me here. So first, there's this little bad boy with the seal. I have no clue what this is. Can I even break this seal? Is that okay? What are you? I feel like the seal must be broken because I have to know what's in there, but I honestly don't want to break the seal. It's so pretty looking. We will preserve the seal. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have. Ah, you know what? This is not from Nick. This is, see how the world turns? This is actually from Sultan Pasha. That's the logo right there. That's the seal. And I saw it was from England. I figured for sure it must have been from Nick. It is from Sultan Pasha. So this is the samples that he sent me. How awesome is that? That is very, very cool. So thank you, my friend. If you ever get a chance to watch this video, thank you very much. And here they are. There are the little samples. I am going to... Oh, wow. That is cool. So, here's some Atars. Look at this. God, I am at a little bit of a loss here as to... Wow. I am at a little bit of a loss. That is very, very generous. Some little Attar bottles that he sent me. I need to... Can I read these? What does it say? Something rose. I'm going to have to do some digging and see. I don't know if you guys know what these are. But I've been very impressed with what I've smelled from Sultan Pasha, which is not very much. There's only... I can't read that, unfortunately. I don't know what these are, but there's only one Sultan Pasha that I've ever had the chance to smell, and it's this. And it was sent to me by Eddie, who said he got this as a gift for being like a... Oh, it's divine. For being like a preferred member of Sultan Pasha. He bought some stuff and he got this this almost like a I guess you could call it like a rough draft Attar. It never turned into a full fragrance. It was basically like a project Attar that he ended up sending to some of his good good customers, and Eddie was one of them, and he sent it to me, and it is fantastic. So I am very interested in smelling more of his work. Look how dark that is. I need to figure out which ones these are so I can put them in the comments. And then there's this. I like the little wax Sultan Pasha thing here on top. I just wish I could read these better. Al-Haram? I don't know. Maybe if anyone knows what these are, which ones these are, you can leave them in the comments for me, because that would be very helpful. I just don't know. I don't know which ones he sent me. Well, I guess, I don't know if are they listed on here. These are the samples. Okay, very cool. This one is Something Rose. And then this one is, I don't know, Foghorn? I don't know. But that is amazing. So I am going to, I guess I'm going to open this whenever I get a chance to try some of them, because I don't want to open it and have it leak or something. But here they are. They're all individually numbered. And I think this will be so special. I'm not going to do a live stream where I test a bunch of them at once. I'm going to probably do individual videos on each of these, because I think Sultan Pasha's work deserves that. And so this is awesome. So thank you, my friend. I expected it to be from Nick, because it was from Great Britain, from England. But let me make sure I save this sheet, because if I don't, I will not be able to know which one's which. Okay, here we go. Awesome. All right, I'm going to put this right here. And I'm going to put you right here. And I'm going to put you guys back right here amongst your friends, your Attar friends. You can live amongst your friends right here. Okay, brilliant. So that was the first. So let's talk about this Slumberhouse fragrance. So first of all, again, thank you to Nick for very kindly sending me this very generous decant of a fairly expensive fragrance. Slumberhouses are notoriously not cheap. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. And I don't know the exact price, but looking online, I have seen some bottles on Lucky Scent for like $180. So 30 mils of ore is about 180 bucks, which sadly doesn't sound too bad when you think about niche pricing nowadays, if Lucky Scent still has bottles of this, by the way. But this is Kafkaesk's blog, basically calls this like a semi dark pseudo gourmand is what she calls it, and she's usually spot on. Like if you've ever read Kafkaesk's blog, it's one of my favorite perfume blogs. And so basically this fragrance, when you first spray, for me anyways, when you first spray this fragrance at first, the very first thing that's going to come to your nose is the fragrance opens up almost like a chocolate bread to me. Okay, so it's like this chocolatey bread, almost like this yeasty feel. And the chocolate, to me, feels powdered. I've heard some people say that the chocolate in ore comes across to them as like melting a chocolate bar or something like that. I disagree. It's almost like, if you've ever been to Costco, around the holidays, they'll sell these chocolate truffles. And the chocolate truffles almost feel like the texture feels like it's dipped in this powdered chocolate. You know what I mean? Like when you taste it, it's like this powdery chocolate. That's the way that the powder comes off to me. And as soon as I saw this was a gourmand, I was like, oh no. I was very disappointed because normally I don't like gourmand. So I've been sort of putting this off. I haven't given this a fair chance until today, to be honest with you. And so I figured, you know what? It was time to do a video. I wanted to try something different. Let's try ore. And so when I first smelled this, the very first thing that popped in my head is that this is a grown-up version of this. So I hate this fragrance. I despise it. It's one of my most hated fragrances of all time. Salvatore Ferragamo's Uomo. So this is a juvenile version of ore. And I know it's not fair comparing something like Or to Uomo, but it was the very first thing that popped in my mind whenever I smelled Or, because it has this swirling tiramisu chocolatey thing going on when you first spray. And you'll also notice that it almost feels like the reason tiramisu popped into my head, and the reason that later on as I started to look at notes, because I like to smell the fragrance first before I do anything else. Before I look at any of the notes, I like to smell the fragrance. And tiramisu popped in my head at first. And the reason it popped in my head, I later on found out, is because there's like a booziness to this fragrance. So when you first get that chocolatey aspect coming to your nose, it's going to be almost like this powdered chocolate, and it's also almost going to be like it's mixed with this this boozy note, which when I was smelling it, I couldn't decide. I wrote down that it's either brandy or whiskey. Those were the two that I sort of guessed. Maybe rum being like a very far third choice. But I think they say it's supposed to be like a single malt, pure Scotch whiskey is basically the note. And it does, and it has this boozy, so it's like a boozy, chocolatey type gourmand, which you might think I absolutely hate. I don't. I actually really like this fragrance. I think this is a solid take on a gourmand. And what's interesting about it is the reason that tiramisu popped in my head is if you've ever actually made tiramisu, the recipe for tiramisu calls for Marsala wine in the actual filling of the tiramisu itself. And that sort of gives it a little bit of this alcoholic type feel. But instead of wine, what you end up getting with Or is this whiskey, this very fine single malt whiskey that starts turning very resinous and deep, okay? It's resinous, it's deep, it's woody, it's got that boozy element to it, and just imagine tiramisu on a plate, and imagine sprinkling like dusty chocolate on top. You ever seen where they like just sprinkle the chocolate on top, and then maybe they drizzle the tiramisu with some sort of liqueur, right? And just imagine that liqueur is like a whiskey, okay? And that's the image of the opening of the fragrance. And so the very first thing, if you know me, you're probably asking yourself is, if I don't like it, it must not be super sweet, right? Well, if I like it, it must not be super sweet. If I don't like it, there's usually some extra sweetness here that bothers me, a la something like this, right? This is the teenage version of, and I've bashed the hell out of this on streams, on videos, and the reason I've bashed the hell out of this is that this is the type of perfume that I really hate. This sort of designer sweet, gimmicky, you know, I don't think a man should smell like tiramisu. However, this, on the other hand, is that idea executed properly. And when it's executed properly, I have to take that statement back. I do think that this would smell amazing on a man. I also think it would smell amazing on a woman. And this sort of, you know, whiskey brandy note, really, this boozy chocolatiness really captured my attention today. To be fair, it's July in Texas, and I'm wearing this. And I will tell you just from the official description on Lucky Scent, they say that this is a dark abyss-like version of Or, because the thing about Or is that Or, there were two versions of Or. One came out in 2009, one came out in 2022, like I said. And the 2009 version, from my understanding, it was like a woodier version of this fragrance. There was this big cedar gaiac wood note that ended up coming through. And gaiac wood is a note that basically has this sort of almost like this burnt quality to it. It's almost like a burnt barbecued wood, if that makes sense. Barbecue makes it sound gross, but it's like a burnt wood smell. And this juxtaposes that sort of woodiness with this creamy balsams, and on Lucky Scent it says bitter black cacao is the note used, and vanilla brushed dark woods. Now I mentioned the dark woods with the gaiac wood, right? And so most of the ingredients this time around are the product of special extraction methods which both remove much of the pigment from the materials and also result in highly sculptured and curated aspects of each raw material, allowing the problematic elements to be discarded while retaining the aspects most desirable to the perfumer. Or is a deep and dark pseudo-gourmand. It is not overly sweet, nor overly woody, so there's a balancing aspect. It exists somewhere between these two, and in between is a soft bed of sweet and smoky balsams and resin notes, though with greater emphasis on a baritone, throated olfactory timbre. This version is quite true to the original, with the primary focus being on calibration and material improvement / quality. Okay, so that's what Lucky Scent has to say about the scent. And it's interesting because the picture on Lucky Scent almost does look like the juice is a lighter color. But when I look at Or in Parfumo, if you go to Parfumo and look up Or, the version from 2022 is dark. It's like a dark, it looks like the one that I have. So I'm not really sure about this whole removing the color extraction method thing. But one thing that I will tell you is the note listing on the new version compared to the older version, there's some big differences. So in the new version in 2022, there's benzoin. There's no benzoin listed in the original, although there are some other balsams listed in the OG from 2009, like Peru balsam and vanilla and stuff like that. And there's a very interesting note called Bushman's Candle. And I have to tell you that of all, and I've done over 500 videos on this channel since I started doing videos 18 months ago or so, and I've never come across this Bushman's Candle note. I had to look it up. And Bushman's Candle apparently is the fallen bark from a type of succulent in the desert that is related. It's a member of the geranium family, and it's actually it's found in Namibia and southern Angola in Africa. Okay, that's where it mainly grows, along the coastal areas. And it's very interesting because whenever the plant dies, it decomposes over time, and it leaves behind this fragrant, hollow bark. This sleeve of bark almost is what it looks like. And it produces this ambery, incensey. They use it for all kind of things, perfume, body care products, and stuff like that. But it's this incense side of this Bushman's Candle ingredient that I think ends up coming out as the fragrance begins to dry. This is my guess, because there's a waxy incense that ends up coming out from underneath that sort of powdery, chocolatey whiskey, that single malt whiskey note, right? And so Bushman's Candle basically has this beautiful, soft, ambery scent that's very rich and sweet and warm and woody, and it works almost as a fixator to your skin, almost like ambergris, okay? So a it's tenacious note. And you get this very interesting waxy incense that starts to come out into the dry down as the hours tick by. This is a 8-hour dry down, and this is about a 4-hour dry down right here. And I can tell you that after the first couple hours, when that real heavy gourmand, in-your-face chocolatey whiskey gourmand starts to, dry away, starts to die away, what comes through is this almost incense-smelling woodiness. And that is something that I really enjoy. I actually enjoy the dry down of this fragrance even more than the opening. I like the opening. In the opening, by the way, one thing that I failed to mention in the opening, there is this very well done spiciness that's underneath it. So while you're getting the chocolate and the whiskey and all that stuff, there's this brilliant spice that kind of comes through underneath, and it almost smells like there's just a little hint of oud in there. Just a little hint of something dirty or animalic, and I really like the way that Josh Loeb did the opening here, because I think it would please the people who want the chocolatey gourmand side of things, but it also pleases somebody like me who wants a little bit of that dirt, a little bit of that animalic funk, a little bit of that primal aspect of the fragrance to come out. And there's some interesting notes in here mixed, not just Bushman's Candle, but there is a milk note, and that's something I can't say I really picked up very much on. maybe I just thought it sort of blended together with that tiramisu note that I thought it was, and that I thought it smelled like anyways, the representation that I would say came to me first, if you will. But I will say that that milk note reminded me a little bit of some of the January scent projects that I smelled. If you watch my January scent project live stream, or go watch some of my videos that I did on the House of January scent project, what came to mind as I was smelling this fragrance over and over is that this feels like something that could have been a January scent project creation. He used a lot of these like lactonic like notes in his creations, and I actually have a live stream with the owner of January Scent Project. If you want to go check out sort of how he feels, his creative process and all that stuff, you can go check out that live stream. But I will tell you that for a first video on a house, this is one where it's not going to make an impression where I'm going to run out and buy stuff. Actually, I won't be buying anything any time anyways, because I've got some issues I have to deal with. But even if I was out in the buying mood right now, let's say, I wouldn't buy this anyways. This is not a full bottle for the Ram, but it is a very good introduction to the house of Slumberhouse. Let's put it that way. It's a very good introduction to the house. It's good enough that I'm very excited to try more. I think there's a couple other very generous decants that Nick sent my way. So you'll be hearing more about the house of Slumberhouse for sure. Absolutely. And as the fragrance continues to dry, the other thing I should mention is, remember I told you that chocolatey bit on top was very powdery, almost like the truffle dipped in this powdered chocolate, right? Imagine that image in your head, if you will. But as it dries, it becomes it literally becomes more and more dry as the fragrance continues to dry. It turns into this dry incense woody thing. And there's a note of muhuhu wood, which sounds funny to say, but muhuhu wood is actually a specific type of wood. I believe it's a sandalwood that grows in Africa. And so muhuhu, let me see if I can spell it correctly. Muhuhu, muhuhu. Okay, so muhuhu wood is African sandalwood, and it grows in Kenya. So far, I've mentioned a couple different African notes, if you will. Bushman's Candle, which I mentioned grows primarily in Nambia and southern Angola. And then you've got muhuhu wood, which grows in Kenya, and they do a lot of like wood carvings with muhuhu wood. Actually, if you go watch my reviews from Ensar Oud, that was a house that he really likes using muhuhu wood. It's a very durable type of sandalwood, a very hard type of sandalwood. Like I said, they make African carvings and stuff like that out of it. But it's a note that you don't see very often in just normal perfumes, normal fine French perfumery, let's say. And it has a very sweet balsamic undertone to the sandalwood. And that balsamic oiliness mixes with the waxiness, I think, of the Bushman's Candle note, and it really gives it a beautiful dry down. I really like the dry down of this. You know, sometimes people say, oh, the perfume falls apart in the base or whatever it is. This one does not. It is holds together very well, and really, really enjoyed getting to know this. So it's kind of one of those things where I wouldn't run out and, you know, I was actually, just talking out loud, I was expecting Slumberhouse's creations to be much closer to, let's say, Bortnikov or Arise Ladore or Ensar, right? But it's actually closer to maybe some of the in-between, the tweener brands, like the January Scent Project or, you know, Clandestine Laboratories or something like that. That's the brands I would maybe put Slumberhouse with. So I'd like to smell some of his other stuff as well. Obviously, this is just one fragrance, so you can't judge a whole house on one fragrance. But overall, solid, extremely solid release, I would say. And really like what I ended up smelling. I really like that woody, balsamic, dry, sort of dry down. And if you want more information, like in-depth write-ups, I would go read Kafkes's blog on this. This is just an early impression for me. You know, obviously I have not run through an entire bottle. This is the first time I've worn it. But I can tell you that she does a fantastic job of really breaking things down. If you have the time to read an article. Okay, so with that being said, let's do the rest of the unboxings. Let's see what else is coming my way. Actually, I know what's coming my way in a couple of these because the people told me what they sent me. So in this package, this is going to be some Amouage. And it's actually going to be the new Amouage, King Blue, which apparently has nothing to do with the blue fragrance, which is just weird. I think it's just a weird thing that Amouage is doing. So thank you, Aliona. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. But you know who you are. Thank you very much for sending these to me. It's very, very kind of you. I know you don't have to do that. She actually sent me some of the women's Amouages. If you ever went back and watched my Amouage video that I did testing on the women's Amouages, and there were little decants, this is the gal who sent them to me. So thank you for keeping the RAM well stocked. So here's the one everyone wants to know about. King Blue. I will do a video on this soon. Maybe tonight if I get time. Maybe tomorrow. But apparently this has nothing to do with the blue fragrance. Apparently it's more like an oudi fragrance comparable to, many people compare King Blue to this, which is Silver Oud. And so, you know, smelling it from the atomizer, I could totally see that. But, yeah, I'm excited to try this. King Blue is apparently, King Blue. So, Opus 15, blackcurrant, mandarin orange, pink pepper, amber, frankincense, Assam oud, leather, oakwood, sandalwood, patchouli. Alexis Grugion, who did that Amouage that I thought was, man, what was it called? Search. Alexis did Search, and then Hamid Marathi Kashani, who did Leighton and Pegasus, and Leighton Exclusive, and Percival, and Sedley, and Pegasus Exclusive. He and a caster. He's the Parfums de Marly guy, basically. So yes, we will see how good old King Blue holds up. And then she sent me Opus 2, which is awesome, because I've never smelled Opus 2. So that is exciting stuff. And it's a vintage little sample of Opus 2. I love these vintage ones. These are my favorite. I love this little tester. It's perfect. It just was the little cap, the gold cap on top. It just screams Amouage. So Opus 2, I've never smelled. And Opus 2 is, let's see, what is Opus 2? Can I find it fast enough? Library collection, Opus 2. Here we go. 2010. Michelle Saramito is the perfumer. I have no clue who she did Godolphin. Okay. I have a decant of that. I'll do a video on Godolphin one of these days. She also did Ambre Premier by Javoy, which I've never smelled. But she hasn't done much. Opus 2 is absinthe, bay leaf, lavender, pink pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, jasmine, rose, frankincense, cedarwood, patchouli, amber, and musk. Sounds interesting. Sounds like something that I would like. All right, I'm going to put it on the decant list. And then we've got Opus 3. Awesome. That's good stuff. Another one I've never smelled. Opus 3 is inspired by the... Okay. Never mind. Opus 3. Mimosa, broom, carnation, nutmeg, thyme, heart of violet, jasmine, ylang, orange blossom, base of ambrette, musk, papyrus, cedarwood, sandalwood, guyakwood, benzoin, frankincense, and vanilla. Sounds great. Oh, interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. Let's Let's put Opus 3 aside, and then we have Opus 4. I think this is Opus 4. Are you Opus 4? What are you? Yes, you are. You're Opus 4. Okay, excellent. Another one I've never smelled. I like the cumin smelling off the atomizer. Let me just add these to the list here. Opus 3. Opus 3 was a Karine Vinchon Spenner. Awesome. All right, put that on the decant list. And then Opus 4 is Jacques Fleury, who's actually a really good perfumer. He's done some good stuff. He did Richwood, he did Psychedelic. So I'm excited to try Opus 4. Okay, that's going on the decant list. Thank you very much. That's awesome. And then we have this, which is cool. This is the Secret Garden collection. These are a lot of Amouage fragrances I don't think I've done videos on or smelled. So we have, what do we have here? We've got Lilac Love Woman, which I have never smelled. Smells great from the atomizer, though. Lilac Love Woman. 2016 release. Nathalie Lorson, awesome. Powerhouse perfumer right there. A floral powdery scent. Smells great. Maybe a little bit of L'Eau d'Hiver coming through from the atomizer, but we'll see what that looks like. And then we've got Blossom Love. Blossom Love from 2017. And that's also Nathalie Lorson and Elise Benet. Cherry Blossom Nectar Rose Liqueur. Ylang Amaretto, Vanilla Cashmeran, Tonka, and Sandalwood. Man, Nathalie Lorson loves her Cashmeran. Okay, that's good stuff. And then we have Love Tuberose. Ooh, that's going to be a scary one for me. Love Tuberose. This is a 2018 release. A creamy white floral. Tuberose, gardenia, jasmine, cream, vanilla, sandalwood, and cedarwood. Ooh, that one's going to be scary. And then finally we have Love Mimosa. That's interesting. Love Mimosa. 2019 release. Only Elise Benet this time. Cascalone, never heard of that. It's a Firmenich aquatic odor profile in the top with iris and violet mimosa. Paradisone. It's also a Firmenich. Jasmine floral-like scent. Synthesized in the 90s with pear, ambroxan, heliotrope, and ylang. Okay, interesting. That is going on the decant list. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you. And I will do videos on those. And then we've got this. We have this. So we have Amouage Opus 1. Opus 1. That's awesome. My Opus collection. I'll be able to do many videos on these Opuses. That'll be fun times. Let me save Opus 1 in here so I know it's here. Opus 1. Okay. So Opus 1 is a Danielle Mordial creation. Cardamom, plum, bitter orange, jasmine, tuberose, ylang, rose, lily of the valley, cedar, frankincense, gaiac wood, papyrus, sandalwood, vetiver, and tonka. Okay, the very first opus. And then we've got Overture Woman. This is the one where a lot of people have been, they have been all over me to try Overture Woman. Overture Woman. 2020 release. Annick Menardo. Oh, of course. Apple brandy, saffron, bergamot, benzoin, cinnamon, myrrh, rose centrifolia. Those are the big roses, I think. The big, heavy, fat ones. Geranium, leather, labdanum, and frankincense. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel like King Blue has to be prioritized since everyone's so interested in that one. But I will make room for the rest. Okay, you guys are going to go over here and live amongst your friends for now. And then one more. One more. This is from Ajay. So thank you, Ajay. Very kind of you to send me some stuff, mate. Let's see what he sent me. Aha. Aha, aha. Ah, look at this guy. Very, very kind stuff. Very kind of you, my friend. Thank you. So here we have Prince Hama, H-A-M-A. Are you guys familiar with this one? Prince Hama, H-A-M-A. I gotta look this up. Prin Hama. Oh, Homa. Sorry, 2020. Oh my gosh, it's a usual Prin note list, a mile long. Costus, Hyraceum, Beeswax, Indian Oud, Mushroom. You know the gist. Okay. That's good stuff. The Prins were hit or miss for me, although lately I found a couple hits. So, and then also, Varuk. I think I might have a couple drops of this floating around. But, this is the one I was actually really excited to try because Varuk was supposed to be based on like a castoreum, which is one of my favorite notes. Animalic, spicy, leathery, furry castoreum. So that's exciting. And then finally we have Ganja Kasturi? Ganja Kasturi, I think is how you pronounce that. Let's see. Ganja Kasturi. Yes, here it is. 2021 release. It's a green spicy fragrance. Black spruce, cannabis, hay, ganja. There you go. Grass, civet, ambrette, tobacco, beeswax, a bunch of stuff. Camphor. Okay. Good stuff. Always excited to try stuff like that. So thank you, Ajay. And then probably the one that most people are interested in hearing about, since I did a video on this little bad boy. And I was not too kind to it. This is Oud Balsam. So I did a video on this already on my channel. You can go check that out. And I was not too kind to it, but I have not smelled the other two releases because it was a trio. And so Ajay very kindly sent me his sample set, which he did not have to do. So that is very, very kind of him. So this is probably what I should have done. I probably should have bought the samples first. But we have Sunrise and Set by Feel Oud. And then we have the one that I heard really good things about, which is Oud de Grande, which is like Oud and Jasmine, basically. So I'm excited to try these. Very, very excited. So thank you, my friend. Those are definitely going to try to get prioritized on the list. So we will put those on the list, and then let's see what else we have here. Mysore soap, which is awesome. This stuff is amazing, apparently. Oh, wow. That's going to be... I got to try this. People keep sending me these, and I keep never using them because I've got the body washes, but I need to prioritize it. That's cool. It sort of lists the MysoreSandal.org. Interesting. That's awesome. Recommended in ancient times. Thank you, my friend. I will put that to use one of these days. And then we have the final package. So here we go. Ah, look at this. Look at this guy. Man, you guys are way too nice to me. So we've got Mitty Attar. Yes, Mitty Attar. I have a little bit of a sample of this, but this will give me a bunch to wear before I really talk about it. So that's awesome. Thank you. And then we have Amouage's Cashmere Wood. I did a video on an Amouage, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was from this line. Okay, very good. Very well wrapped, Ajay. Let me look up this this Cashmere Wood real quick. Okay, so I don't think it was Cashmere Wood. I think it was... Okay, yeah, it wasn't this one. This is lavender, mandarin orange, iris, cacao, tonka, oud, amber, cedar wood, and patchouli. And then we've got blue sapphire. So this is the Bodicea the Victorious. Everyone's been telling me you have to try this one, man. Apparently this was a huge hype beast. A lot of people really love blue sapphire. So let me look it up real quick. Blue Sapphire by Bodicea the Victorious. (2013) release. Lemon, orange, rose, jasmine, cardamom, oud, patchouli, and amber. Christian Provenzano is the perfumer. He's a damn good perfumer. Blue Sapphire was created for the 65th wedding anniversary, the Iron Anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II. Sure it was. Sure it was Bodicea the Victorious. And then we have Amouage's Amir 1. That's awesome, because I do have Amir 2, and I really like it. So trying Amir 1 will be very much fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn into Dr. Seuss there. Okay. Amir 1. So Amir 1 is from their more expensive line. There's an Amir 1 and Amir 2. Amir 1 is bergamot, clary sage, lavender, lemon, jasmine, lily of the valley, patchouli, rose, sandalwood, amber, musk, and oud. And I actually really liked Amir 2, so that'll be fun to try. And then finally we have the one maybe I'm most excited about. Indiski Sandal. This fragrance, Indiski Sandal, is a fragrance that Russian Adam said is his favorite sandalwood fragrance of all time. And when someone of Russian Adam's statue says something like that, it raises eyebrows, right? And so this fragrance is discontinued, I believe. I'm about to look it up. But Ajay found a bottle in the Ukraine, mind you. He got it, and he said that he thinks that it's legit. Everything came back beautiful, and he got a great deal on it. And he said it is definitely one of the best sandalwoods he's ever smelled. Indiski. Oh no. How do I find it? Indis. Indis. Oh no. Let me try to Google it. Indiski. Key Sandal. Ah, yes. I don't know if this is the right one or not. I'm going to have to do some digging on this one. But, yeah, apparently they say this is one of the best sandalwoods. So I need to find the correct name and how it's spelled and everything. But yes, so that is an awesome little haul of samples. More samples to talk about probably than I have time to do right now. Sorry the videos are going to be a little sporadic from here on out, at least until everything settles down at the Ram household. But I appreciate everyone's support, commenting, liking, all the stuff you guys do. I still respond to comments, even though I've been out for about a week or so. So if you leave a comment, I will get back to you. Let me know what you think about Norn. Let me know what you think about the amazing fragrances that I get to try, the samples. Let me know which ones you want me to talk about first. I'll try to prioritize them. If you've smelled some of the Slumberhouses, if you smelled Ore, do let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.